So thanks, Richard, for the introduction. Yeah, this has been told me already, but I tend to forget. So I hope you won't find this presentation too academic, which is not. Maybe this first year of the project is about understanding what we are going to do, but really we want to not only do research and paper, but realize something. And I will give you an overview what we are currently doing in this project. It's SOCIOTAL. It's not societal, but IoT enabled society. So we want to create socially aware, citizen-centric Internet of Things. And I'm going to talk about this. My name is Michele. I'm researcher, senior researcher at the University of Surrey. And the project is made by a large consortium across the Europe, made of SME, research center, university, and city. We have two cities currently involved in the project. One is Santander City. I don't know if you heard about Santander and Smart Santander project. It was a project we were part already until last September. It's one of the first smart city built not with existing infrastructure, but we create the infrastructure during the project. So the city is currently running on over 10,000 sensors that has been deployed during the project, monitoring parking space, air quality, traffic condition, all this kind of stuff. All these data are available and accessible through a platform that allow new business, new SMEs or whatever, coming and test their solution with on the data that the city can provide. So, and we have another city that is Novi Sad. It's in Serbia. It's part of the was part already of a Smart Santander project, and the city runs as well its own network of sensor collecting data from air quality on buses, and there are a fleet of over 300 buses moving around the city and producing data that can be accessed by everybody. So, and why we have city in the project? Because they will allow us to experiment what we are doing and to leverage on a large community of users that is already being established to participate to our project, our experimentation. So two new partners have been joining the project. So this was something that was very good for us. This looks like a promising direction we are taking, and from using this EU funding. And this was the first time that someone from Asia asked to join a European project. There are already, you might know or not, funding schemes supporting the European Commission and to jointly have project together with Asia, for instance, China, Japan. But this was the first time in which someone spontaneously came and say, look, this project is interesting. We will self-fund ourselves to join the project and being part of the pilots that you are going to run. And this come from Taiwan. So we have the University of Taiwan and Taiwan Tech that joined the project recently, and they will be part of the project. So what are the motivation? Our first thought was that currently, or trend is changing now, Internet of Things was something that was run mainly on big data, and these big data were collected from everywhere, any device, without sometimes having the user in the loop, or the user knowing about this. So you have your own device that is generating data. This data goes somewhere, and this can be used by company to gain some knowledge, some insight, and then deliver service or deliver advertisement or this kind of stuff. So, but we think that if the human is not in the loop of Internet of Things, is not aware of Internet of Things, is not participating spontaneously to Internet of Things, this can reduce the capability of Internet of Things, and this can reduce the possibility of deliver new service that can be of help of people as well. So, and create really a new citizen-centric services. So the main idea is then to create citizen-centric service, a new wave of Internet of Things in which data are spontaneously contributed by people. So people knows about where their data goes, what's happening with their data, and they can not only decide what data they contribute and when, but also what service can be enabled with their data. They can be part of the creation of the service that they want to see, and they can help their community, their life, and their city. So our approach is then to create among different dimensions. So we want first to create tools that allow to reliably and secure share your data, protecting your privacy, and keep control of when your data will be shared and when they won't be. So to create services that can be really of help of people in order to make better life, and especially we focus on smart neighborhoods, and as an example of smart cities. So neighborhoods are already with their problem, and the problem that at a larger scale a city can face, and the community as well. So we want to start from the bottom and make people collaborating and creating, by sharing their data, creating their service to make better neighborhood, and then better community, and then maybe probably go with better neighborhood to better smart city. Well, okay, oops, too much. So we have different activities currently taking place. So the first one is looking into the back end of the problem. So we are looking how to enable this participation to data sharing with the required governance, trust, and reputation framework. At the same time, we are also looking at the lower end, where people with their device provide the data, and in a sort of crowdsourcing collection of data, provide their data, and they can transfer securely this data, and protecting their privacy by managing in a more or less seamless way this data creation and sharing. From the other side, we are also start to engage with communities, so in order to understand what people want from Internet of Things, how they see Internet of Things, so to get a better insight, because, as I said, not many projects so far define the use case going to the people and understand from the people where their needs are. They said, okay, we put on paper some use case that looks nice, we get the money, and then we try to realize, but the user was not properly in the loop until now. At least until 1.5 years ago, when the project was funded by the European Commission, that saw this as a novelty. Then we decide also to create some tool that empower the user to create their own service, even if they don't have the right experience to be a techie guy or something like this, but they can do as well their own services. So we have seen now some platform coming up that allow you to control your sensor or to share your sensor. We want to build upon this and build this around the logic that allow us to share the data in a privacy preserving way. And we do this also for developer in order to have their own API to access the system, and they develop app on top of this, more advanced services. And finally, all this idea will be tested in the 2 cities that I mentioned already before in pilot. So this is the structure of the project. Communities are quite central. Communities are people, communities are users, and we leverage on them on 2 different ways. So from one side, we gather through community engagement activity, we gather requirement from them in order to design our tools and to design the architecture and the API that we will need to expose. And on the other side, we will we will empower them, giving them the capability to participate to the process and to take part of the realization of the service through citizen empowerment and creation of tools that they can use. So what was one of the first concepts that we wanted to introduce in this IoT world? So the idea of bubbles, of circle, of trust or community. So you have your own device, and as owner of this device can share data across them. But you cannot only rely on your device. You can maybe find advantage on using a device from other people. So, and starting from your personal bubble, so device that share data seamlessly across them, following some policy that allow them to share data, you want to create a new data, and you want to rely on existing data from other device by enlarging this policy and managing this policy. For this reason, we designed the concept of community, that communities where data can flow across device belonging to different owner, following different privacy rule according to security rule according to some other characteristics. So, for instance, a community can be geolocated, can be based on interest from people, same interest or same area, this kind of stuff. So, from the your personal bubble that we can manage using specific privacy and policy and security rule, we move to the community a concept that allow to enlarge your data. So building upon the community and the bubble rule, we are designing also some tools that allow this device to not only decide when they can communicate and the data that they can share across them, but also how to communicate, relying on existing technology, but applying the rule that we want to define for the community and bubble communication. And this communication, okay, we don't need now to understand this. This is still the concept that we are designing the tool to make this possible, but we see two different possibilities. One is centralized approach where people belonging to the same community can be create their community in a pretty manual way, so decide I want to be part of this community, and they can talk through an infrastructure, and already existing infrastructure, or there are possibility to create a spontaneous community. So maybe we can have a community sharing data in this environment because we are sharing the same space, or we are sharing the same interest, so we can collect data that are valuable for some aspect that are related to this space. So this can be created and can be lead to sharing of data in a ad hoc communication without communication without relying on interconnected infrastructure that allow also the system to gain more privacy aware aspect when you don't go and share your data with a third-party provider. In order to do this, we are relying on existing Internet of Things architecture. So I don't know if you are aware of this, maybe no, because as you said, everyone is creating his own solution, and everyone wants to use some other solution. And but especially in terms of what European Commission see as a driver is something that should be more or less homogeneous across the different solutions, and there are already so-called Internet of Things architectural reference model that has been designed 3 years ago with a project, large project. Many people were industry and were participating to the consortium, and they came out with what they call IoTA ARM, so Internet of Things Architecture Reference Model. So following this, in order to make everything compliant to existing architecture and other architecture that will develop, we design our extension to this ARM, and we identify that the main component of this should be the following. And first of all, the context manager is everything around which we are building our own solution, because we see that data are valuable depending on their context, and also the policy and the way you share data depend on the context. So for instance, you don't want to share the data about we said already about health or whatever, so we are thinking more low level of data generation, where we, for instance, I want to participate to a service in which I can provide my data coming from my phone, for instance, noise that I can detect from my phone in order to detect noisy environment or a map of the city level noise. And for instance, I want to do this when I'm walking on the street, but I don't want to do this when I'm at home. So for instance, I feel this like something that is violating my privacy. So for this, every policy should be adapted to the context. And the context manager and the way to detect context, it's one way to enable this. And this is the most crucial way to enable this. This context manager is quite central. It can feed all of the other system that allow us to securely and privacy preserving the data generation and sharing with other people. So like other system, third-party system, like the authorization, the authentication model, and then the trust and reputation, because as the talk before point out is we have a lot of data, but how we rank this data, okay, or how we can assure that the data have the good quality that I expect, and how I can not only rank the data and their quality, but also the quality of who is using my data, who is accessing my data. So how I can trust who is using my data. So which the service is using my data, how the service can be trusted more than another. So these are all elements that we are designed for the architecture. We specify for the architecture, we are designing as part of the project. So in order to enable this community creation and context recognition, we design many enablers. We call enablers, so enabling technology that we will use in the system, and are maybe the most academic part so far of the project, but they will evolve, and hopefully they will reach the I'm not saying a market level, but a production level where people can have this embedded in their phone or on their device. So for instance, we focus on technology, and we achieve good results so far, to enable people to enable device to understand social relation that we have in real life. So using mobile phone sensing capability and especially radio capability, we are able to detect the kind of relation that two people being in the same room, being in the same space, or can have. So for instance, we can be now in the same room, but it can be the first time that we meet. After this talk, we can be outside, chat for the first time, and our device is able to detect this. And over time, if this repeat, it can detect that there is a social relation among the people behind the device. And this is somehow translating what is in existing social graph, like Facebook, Twitter, or whatever. People are connected, but probably they never met each other. So creating a new social graph where we know that people that have a relation, this relation built over time. So this can be done in two ways. So knowing that people face each other, and for this we rely on a technology that we developed at the University of Surrey that we call UDirect, and that use gyroscope or the other sensor that you have in your mobile phone. And the other is how far people are from each other. And this is, if you look at the social scientists, they say that there are different zones in which people can interact. And depending on the zone when they interact, there are different social relations that can be translated to the person. So this is one way to do this. So, and using this, we can create different contexts, different ways. So for instance, now I've seen, my device seen many people that are unfamiliar to me. So my device doesn't share data with these people. While I'm at home, my device can recognize people in which I built a social relation over the time and can share data if they ask from people being the same social relation. Relying on the same, we create also, on some enabling technology, we create also some tools, some enabler for detecting indoor localization, still using mobile phone and using geomagnetic field information. So using this, every point in the in the world or whatever has a specific geomagnetic value. So if you can start this and other feature, and using this to map building, we can easily say with good accuracy that people are where you are located in indoor building where GPS doesn't work. So just with carrying your mobile phone around the building. And this create, again, the possibility to create a new group, a new community where people share data according to this. So for instance, people are on the same, sharing the same working space or this kind of the same house. They can use this technology to share the data. So, okay, this was the part that solved the issue about communicating data and generating data and sharing data in a privacy-preserving way. So on the other side, as we said, we want to empower citizens to create their own service. For this, we create two sets of tools. One is more intuitive, that can be used by user that I don't have any experience. It's like, I don't know, don't have an example here, but there is a new platform coming like ParaImpu, maybe you know, where you have your own sensor, you have your own actuator in your own space. You can decide link and connection between this device and trigger the different action according to this. So, but we want now to enable this kind of services, also Xively can do something similar if you design your own application, where the data are not coming only from your device, but from the device that are allowed to share data with you, even from other people, other users. It can be merged also with smart city data and this kind of data source, and still having the possibility to enforce policy according to your needs and your level of privacy. So, and these are some of the applications we are working. So every data that generated data can be easily shared with other people. So we are working on a simple touch and compose interface that allow you to tag a new device and take the data source and decide to who you want to share the data source with other people. A simple touch in your application. So it's to simplify the process. And from user interaction point of view, we design a system. We are designing a system. This is still mock-up. We have already the system designed that allow you to create simple when-do rule that allow you to gather data from sensor and trigger action from actuator. So as we said, all the device by default can share data only within the space of user device, but this can be this policy can evolve in a seamless way. As we said, we have the enable for doing this to allow people, for instance, to not only share the data within their own space, but share the data and share the device with other people they have familiar with, that build relation over time, so social relation over time. From the same side, the same side but a different angle, we are developing a tool for developer that allow to use the APIs that we provide to access the system in a seamless way to build and compose your application, and the tool is should be quite powerful, be integrated with existing developing tool. So we have to assure the trustworthiness of the system. So the system will access all the societal security framework that we saw before, and possibility to build application that use the device that has been ranked as trustable, and the same for the user that are behind this with our trusted reputation framework. And then we are trying to build something that is more advanced than what we expect to share with the with the low-end user that just want to compose some rule, but create some more application, giving the possibility to create a rule and application in a more advanced way. So this is how the tool will look like. So the main part is that we, when we have people contributing with their data, and not only mobile phone, but we have also to think about static sensors. So many people now have Raspberry Pis, Arduino board that they use at home, or whatever their maker they like to share data. So we can identify the data on the map, all the data that are the device that are registered and the trustworthy from the platform, and then we can create some rule based on event, condition, and action, and have the other functionality of existing designing tool. This is for developers that want to create more advanced application on this. Okay, to conclude, I just want to summarize how we engaged so far with community to arrive to this. So this is what we are building, and most of that is built. We will need to start now test in our pilot and trials. And but how we arrived to this? So we had a continuous engagement from the very beginning of the project with community. We start from community in the two cities that were part of the project, Santander and Novi Sad, but we extend this to other area because we have other partners involved. We start to do this also in Guildford as part of the University of Surrey work and engagement. And what we understand is that currently, from the user perspective, there is lack of participation to the Internet of Things and to the creation of new service that can be service for smart community, smart neighborhood, or smart city, because there is lack of third-party provider. So which is something that we are trying now to solve with this infrastructure that we create, this security framework that we create. Still, we create based on their requirement, but we need to now push back to them and try to advertise this achievement like you cannot go to community now and say, look, these are the feature of my security framework in a technological way, but you have to, we understood that we need to find a way to push them back this novelty in a way that can be received by them. So, and from the other side, we saw that there is, it's not easy to, once you have this, to coordinate SME involvement into the creation of services, because creation of this kind of service that comes from many different sources, data comes from many different sources, not only from user, require the coordination of different entity, like city, like community level engagement, and user, and this kind of stuff. So there is a lack of someone acting like bridging this kind of words. And there is still a lack of rich scenario that goes and try to help user and their daily life. So what we have done so far, we rely on the co-creation workshop concept, and we start to engage with different stakeholders and try to show what will be the advantage, what will societal platform provide, and try to get people, SME interest to this, city council interested to this, and all to contribute to this from one side, to push new data to the platform and to create a new service for this. So co-creation is a process that Natalie Stembert put together, especially with focus on Internet of Things, and the purpose is to uncover and user needs, try to identify positive and negative reception of the technology that you are going to provide to the user, and try to rely on the user in order to build effective device and sensor interface. So the approach really take the user, the end user of the service into consideration, and what it does is just showing sometimes card from their daily life. So for instance, empty parking spot, or a very crowded parking place, or a very crowded place, or this kind of stuff, and ask the user what is the problem that you see in this picture, or what will be better for you to look better this picture. And when this is done in order to assess the positive and negative aspect of the user daily life, where they see problem, try to understand where they see problem. And when after this is done, we ask to the user what you will do if you have, for instance, sensor that can monitor this kind of information or that kind of information, and how you see the role of the sensor, where you will place the sensor. And then we ask as well, how you want to access the information, because people want to have something that is seamless to access, to use, and they don't like many to do many things in their life. They're already busy with other things. So we ask them how you will design the system in order to talk with you, but in very simple way, in very simple language, using their language. This is the outcome of this process that has been created by one of this creation workshop. You can see that really during this co-creation workshop are people doing this. It's not you working as an interface to them and then translate this from user needs to technical aspect. So this is a second phase. This is done later, but at the very basic step, there are people working on this with different, very simple to use tool, not technology, no nothing, just a map, just some dots, some cards, this kind of stuff. So this was done in Novi Sad with the support of DunavNet, and previously in Santander with the University of Cantabria. So what came out from this? That we designed two major pilots in the two cities that are part of the city of the project. One will be in Novi Sad, and in Novi Sad we are trying to create some kind of mood of the city, so where people can share their data depending on the context, where they feel that their privacy is not violated, to sharing their data in order to create their city happiness index. And we want to see how this will influence the life in the city, how this will influence the reaction of the city council in order to fix problems that can be related to the different status of mood of the people in different area. So by visualizing this and providing this through a public dashboard and through a user dashboard. And we have also found that at community level, neighborhood level, people living in a building, sharing the same building, they see that sharing data can help their life in everyday situation, like for instance monitoring a simple elevator. When the elevator is broken, and communicating this data and sharing this data can make things working better and be fixed more faster. So in Santander as well, we will run a few pilot that has been requested by the citizens. So, and one will be use, as we said, data coming from a user in order to monitor city condition, weather forecast, and other information. Then from the other side, we want to allow people to discover themselves and share their data, or for instance, share tool and object like sharing taxi or this kind of stuff, but not people that doesn't know each other, but people that know each other will be more happy to do this. And finally, in the new partner, with the new partner in Taipei, we will run some smart retail use case where we will see how we can improve experience of user in a shopping mall by sharing their interface, but still in a privacy preserving way. So this will be done in a commercial district in Taiwan. So this is still a quite academic way to present the service and the use case we will address. So as I said, we will address problem of sharing data and discover people that can share similar data, create community in a seamless way that people can share data within the community. And we will have problem of modeling the data, and this was in Santander. So in Novi Sad, as I said, we will have to address problem in order of creating reputation for the data that we share, because the mood can be, if you want to really create a mood of the city, we need to be sure that the data that we collect have good quality, come from trustworthy, with well-ranked resource, this kind of information. So finally, this is the way we are engaging with stakeholders. We have done many meetups across the world, sorry, across the Europe. So there is one running also in Guildford. The formula of the meetup was so far gathering needs from SME people involved in this business in order to understand their needs also as a developer of new service. And so far, security aspects were quite predominant, and the second is also that people would like to engage, as SME would like to engage with the Internet of Things related application or business, but still there is lack of a proper business plan, and they don't see where the money goes in Internet of Things. So there are many talking about, but very few succeeding in this. So we are trying to foster discussion on this and try to provide answer to this. And in the second year, we will start introducing the societal research question that we will try to we are solving with our framework, and in the third year we will start to present how they will access our framework and our infrastructure in order to build their own solution. And that's it. So if you have any question, probably I didn't say before, I'm part of the Institute for Communication System, that is also the leader of the new 5G center that will be the leading one in 5G technology for the England, because we pledged 50 million from industrial partnership, and we are building also a testbed for 5G communication. That's it.